where a number of key events are taking place, and KTN Business Today continues to drive the agenda here in the county of Mombasa. And one of the striking conferences that have been happening is in regards to the issue of nuclear power plants. And nuclear continues to be a subject of heated debate, with a number of experts coming out saying this is not the appropriate technology that Kenya should consider moving forward. And also we've seen others saying yes, nuclear is the way to go. And we want now to bring in Engineer Collins Juma, who is the acting Chief Executive Officer as well as the Chairman at the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board here, and he now joins us live on KTN News. Perhaps, Engineer Collins, a lot of concerns raised on the fears around nuclear energy. What's your message to people who consider this technology not appropriate for Kenya?
Abby, Kenya wants to be industrialized, and any nation that wants to be industrialized and fears technology has no business going forward with their industrialization program. Nuclear is not only appropriate for Kenya, but is appropriate for the entire world if used carefully and exploited to the maximum. That's what I can say.
And perhaps, Engineer, we understand Kenya is soon to move to the stage where it's a question of bidding down the road. Perhaps just update our viewers regarding the feasibility studies, as well as where are we likely to see this plant being constructed down the road?
When this idea came to the table, that is in the year 2010, on the advice of National Economic and Social Council, the government of the Republic of Kenya approached the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. IAEA is the UN agency mandated to give guidance to member states on the preparatory program for the nuclear program for those countries that are interested. And the agency gave us a document called the Milestone Approach. The Milestone Approach documents actually gives guidance on a lot of infrastructure issues. Actually, there are 19 infrastructure issues, ranging from emergency preparedness, nuclear waste, site and supporting facility selection, all the way up to environmental management for the nuclear power program. And the government carried out a pre-feasibility study between 2011 and 2013 on these issues. You are supposed to know where you are on those issues against what is required by the guidelines of the International Atomic Energy Agency. And then after that, they bring in the mission of experts to try and evaluate how far you've gone with those issues, and then they give you their recommendations and suggestions on how to move forward. And we carried out that mission last year in August, and the report was delivered in January this year, and we are working on the recommendations that came from the report. The report is public, that we can share it with you, because everything nuclear has to be shared. Every question is important, it has to be answered.
And finally, Engineer, looking at this roadmap to Kenya down the road embracing nuclear technology, how do we circumvent the issue of funding as well as consensus building at the grassroots? If you can respond to that, and please keep it brief.
Okay, funding for the nuclear power plant can come in different models. I don't want to say now which model we are going to adopt, but you can have G2G, you can have PPP, and I would say that a typical nuclear power plant of 1,000 megawatts is around 4 to 5 billion US dollars. The government can enter into G2G with another government to come and fund the nuclear power program or the nuclear plant construction. Then they agree on the modalities of how they are going to, the other government is going to recoup its investment. In terms of consensus, I believe you are talking about stakeholder involvement. We've tried so much to reach various stakeholders. especially the media, because the resistance about nuclear, a lot of it is because of lack of information on how nuclear power program is carried in those countries that have done it very well. And that's what we were trying to reach the public so that they can understand. Yeah.
Well, perfect place to end the interview. Thank you very much, Engineer Collins Juma, the acting CEO of the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board, just speaking to us on the sidelines of the ongoing Kenya nuclear training really happening here in Mombasa County. Well, it's time now to wrap up the show, but before we call it an end from this side of town, let's recap our Twitter poll question, where today we are asking you, do you think the government is doing enough to propel the use of ICT in counties? And the results are in, and I can see some interesting numbers. 27% are saying yes, the government is doing a lot to spur this, whereas 58% are saying no, and about close to 14% are saying they don't know. So this technically is an indictment to the government of the day when it comes to adoption of ICT in counties, which have been faced with some serious revenue leakages that has actually taken the Senate to comment on this issue, that's trying to push the governors to ensure there's more accountability, there's more prudent fiscal management at the county level. That is the verdict of our viewers who are watching us and just keeping up with the tweets. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. But for now, and from me and the entire team that made this broadcast successful from Mombasa County, we say a big thank you, and keep it KT News. Coming up next is Worldview. My name is Abi Agina. Let's link up tomorrow, same time, same place, for another edition of KTN Business Today.